So this is Patrice Runner, and he's a Canadian and French citizen who prosecutors say ran a psychic scam so big it pulled in over $175 million, hitting more than 1.3 million victims in the US. And what makes it scary is it doesn't start with some dramatic robbery. It starts with a regular envelope in your mailbox, like it's just another piece of mail. Now, the psychic name you keep seeing is Maria Duval, and her relationship to this story is that the letters were made to look like they were from her, like she personally saw something about you. And there's another name too, Patrick Guerin, who's basically used as a second psychic identity to make the whole thing feel like a real spiritual team is involved, when it's actually a business operation. So the story starts back in the 1990s, and according to authorities, this runs from 1994 through November 2014. People across the US start getting letters claiming a famous psychic had a vision about them specifically, and the letter is written in a way that feels personal, like I saw something about your future, like you're about to hit a turning point. And the first letter is the bait, because it's not asking for thousands of dollars on day one. It's usually a fee that's small enough where someone thinks, okay, maybe I'll just try it. The letter promises you can reach wealth and happiness with the psychic's help, but you need to pay and follow their instructions, like this is your one chance and the universe is watching. But boom, here's where it turns into a real trap. The DOJ says once someone responded even once, they'd get flooded with dozens of follow-up letters, still acting like it's a personal relationship, still acting like the psychic is focused on you. And every letter has another step that needs another payment. So now it's not just a letter, it's a cycle. And the reason this works is psychological, because the letters are written like private warnings and private blessings. The DOJ describes them as nearly identical form letters being sent at massive scale. But to the victim, it feels custom, like the psychic knows them. And that's exactly how people get emotionally invested and keep paying. Now, here's another creepy detail. Authorities said the operation often targeted elderly and vulnerable people, and the way they found victims wasn't random. Investigators said names were gathered by renting and trading mailing lists, basically like a fraud pipeline, where victims become leads and the scam just keeps feeding itself. And if you're thinking, okay, but what were people actually paying for? The court later described it really bluntly. The Second Circuit said customers paid for rare gems and supernatural objects and personalized psychic services, but they received junk items and generic responses, and the personalized services were never actually provided the way people were led to believe. Like, it's not mysticism, it's product deception with a spiritual costume. So while the victim thinks a psychic is sitting somewhere reading their letter and sending them guidance, the reality described in court is more like a factory system. That's the twist of the whole thing. This wasn't some small-time fortune teller. It's described as a mass mailing enterprise that ran for around 2 decades, and it only survives that long because it's structured and repetitive. Now, fast forward, because eventually the law catches up. In December 2020, the DOJ said Runner was extradited from Spain to the US to face charges, which is a crazy ending for something that started as paper letters. It's like the story goes from mailbox scam to international extradition, and that's when you know the scale is serious. Then comes the courtroom chapter, and this is where it gets real official. The DOJ says a federal jury convicted Runner in June 2023 after trial, and the convictions included conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud, conspiracy to commit money laundering, plus multiple counts of mail and wire fraud. So yeah, at that point, the psychic letters aren't a weird business anymore, they're a fraud case. And then, boom, the sentence lands. On April 15, 2024, the DOJ announced Runner was sentenced to 10 years in prison, describing him as operating a $175 million psychic mass mailing fraud scheme that targeted victims with deceptive promises. It's one of those cases where the numbers are so big they stop sounding real until you remember every number is a person who got pulled into it. Runner appealed, trying to argue that the government's fraud theory was legally defective, like this shouldn't count as fraud. But in July 2025, the Second Circuit described the operation as false and misleading advertising for purportedly supernatural objects and psychic services, and the court affirmed the convictions. So, that's basically the legal system saying, no, this was deception designed to take people's money. And that's why this story hits, because the crime wasn't one huge dramatic moment. It was a slow drain, letter after letter, promise after promise, payment after payment, where the victim is always told they're one step away from the big breakthrough. It's like the scam is engineered to keep you hoping and then charging you for the hope and then charging you again. That's it for today. If you like this story, hit the like button, subscribe for more real stories, and comment which case you want next, because trust me, there are way crazier ones out there.